You won't believe what Barbra Streisand's son just revealed. And it changes everything. For decades, Barbra Streisand has been a symbol of power, talent, and undeniable grit. But behind the spotlight, there's always been a quiet mystery. What really drove her? Was it fame? Was it ambition? Or something deeper? Something only someone truly close to her would ever know? Well, now we do. Because at 82 years old, her son, Jason Gould, just said what longtime fans have always suspected. Her rise to greatness wasn't just about talent. It was about survival. Let's rewind. Barbra's story didn't begin on a glamorous stage. It started in a small apartment in Brooklyn, where nothing came easy. Her father passed away when she was just a baby, leaving her mother to raise her and her brother alone. They had no couch, no comforts, barely enough to scrape by. Barbra didn't even have her own room until she was 16. And the loss of her father? That shadow followed her. For years, she believed he died from working too hard, because that's what her mother told her. But the truth was far more painful. He had epilepsy, and he died from complications of a seizure. Her mother kept it quiet, maybe out of shame, maybe fear. Either way, Barbra was left not only with a broken family, but a story that didn't quite add up. That betrayal stayed with her. Things didn't get easier. Her mother rarely showed affection and often shut her dreams down. Barbra, full of dreams and a stunning soprano voice by the age of 6, got little praise. Instead, her mom told her she'd never be beautiful enough to be a star, and should probably settle for being a typist. Imagine hearing that from the one person who's supposed to believe in you. And then came the moment that truly broke something in her. At just 8 years old, Barbra was sent away to camp. The food was awful, she was miserable, and when her mom finally showed up, she thought she was going home. Instead, she was driven to a strange apartment with a man she'd never met sitting in the car. Surprise! That was her new stepdad. And oh, her mom was pregnant too. No warning, no conversation. Just a whole new life dropped on her without so much as a heads up. That kind of betrayal? It hits deep. And as Barbra later admitted, it's probably why she cannot stand lies. "Tell me the truth," she once said. "I can handle any truth. Just don't lie to me." Her stepfather never warmed up to her either. No matter how hard she tried, calling him dad, bringing him his slippers, even crawling across the floor to avoid blocking the TV, he always made her feel like she didn't belong. He'd compare her to her stepsister and make her feel plain. So Barbra turned to the one thing that never let her down: music. She sang on the steps of her Brooklyn neighborhood, at weddings, anywhere someone would listen. And little by little, people did listen. At 13, her mom finally let her record a few songs, but the emotional scars were already carved deep. Still, she never stopped chasing the light. By 16, she was living on her own, taking odd jobs, sleeping on cots in friends' apartments, even ushering at theaters just to be close to the stage. And it worked. One audition led to another. A casting director gave her a shot, not a role, but a tip. Add your singing to your resume. She sang in tiny clubs, in talent contests, sometimes for free, sometimes for scraps. And then came The Lion, a gay nightclub in Greenwich Village. She entered a contest. Nervous, determined. She won. And not just the contest, she won the room. People saw her, heard her, and for the first time, Barbra wasn't just chasing attention to feel loved. She was being truly recognized for what she was, a force of nature. She even dropped the extra A in her name. Barbra became Barbra, her own name, reshaped by her own hands. Of course, the road to stardom wasn't smooth. People mocked her nose, her looks, told her to get plastic surgery, told her to fix herself. But Barbra never caved. That nose, she said, was a part of her Jewish identity, her truth. Why should she change it just to make someone else comfortable? She didn't want to fit in. She wanted to stand out. And she did. She exploded into fame, first with her voice, then on stage, and finally on the big screen. She conquered every corner of entertainment: Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, you name it, and all while sticking to her values. But it came at a price. Her first marriage, to actor Elliot Gould, started with love, but ended in heartbreak. As her star rose, Gould struggled with her success, with gambling, with substance use. She tried to make it work. They had a son, Jason, who became her world. But by 1971, it was over. Still, she never let heartbreak define her. She kept going, singing, acting, directing, creating. And through it all, Barbra stayed true to what mattered to her. She used her fame for causes that meant something. She spoke out against the Vietnam War. She supported civil rights. She marched for women. She stood with the LGBTQ+ community before it was popular. Even when presidents added her name to enemies lists, she didn't back down. That wasn't a persona, that was who she was. And now, after a lifetime in the public eye, after all the awards and applause, the most powerful validation didn't come from the media, it came from her son. In a recent interview, Jason shared that Barbra never chased stardom to be famous. It was about something deeper, about proving she could survive, about taking all the rejection, the pain, the loneliness, and turning it into art, into purpose. He said, "My mother's strength? It's not an act, it's who she is." And honestly, don't we all kind of feel like we always knew that? Barbra's story is more than just a tale of talent. It's about a little girl who was told she wasn't enough, and who grew up to change the world anyway. If that's not legendary, what is? Thanks for sticking around and diving into this incredible journey. If this story inspired you like it inspired us, give it a like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button for more real stories behind the stars. See you in the next one.